I'm Rebecca McLaughlin-Duane, and this week marks the start of the Holy Month of Ramadan. This week in the show, we'll take you to Egypt to explore the booming trade in traditional Ramadan lanterns known as fawanees. Plus, we celebrate Europe Day with an exclusive interview with the EU ambassador to the UAE as we discuss cultural ties, trade and peace.
We actually increased the trade with this country of 54%, which is really a huge amount.
But first, Salim Asaid went along to find out how children of all denominations in the UAE's multicultural society are being educated about this special time of year for Muslims.
The month of Ramadan is a spiritual one, when Muslims who make up over a quarter of the world's population practice one of the 5 pillars of Islam, fasting. They don't eat or drink from dawn till dusk in order to feel with those less fortunate and reflect on the blessings in their own lives. Children start to fast as early as 7 years old and learn the values of the holy month with games, dancing, and sweets, of course. Children go from door to door asking for gifts, but instead of trick-or-treating and wearing scary costumes like in Halloween, they wear bright, colorful outfits and receive seasonal sweets and nuts to learn the joys of giving and sharing. In Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, this time of year is called Garga'an. In Oman, it's called Garangasho, and in Bahrain, Garga'un. In these Gulf countries, the holiday is celebrated in the middle of Ramadan as a reward for children fasting, while in the UAE, it takes place 2 weeks before Ramadan and is called Hajj al-Layla. Boys wear traditional thobes, slippers, and a jacket for some flair, while young girls put on long, bright, multicolored dresses and sequined headdresses to top it all off. They carry felt bags or wicker baskets to collect their holiday goodies and sing the words, "Give to us and God will give to you." It's not just Muslim children that are learning the traditions and values of Ramadan. Kids 8 to 9 years old from all backgrounds here in the UAE sat down to discover what the holy month is all about. It's the start of Arabic Week at the American Community School, where students from over 60 nationalities are learning about the culture of their environment in the UAE, and also about Ramadan as the holy month comes to a start.
What does Ramadan mean to you?
Ramadan is a holy holiday. It means peace, love, and forgiveness, and it means to give money to the poor.
Some students even found parallels with holidays they celebrate at home.
Thanksgiving is where you feel thankful, and Ramadan is where you feel thankful.
Their educators say that communicating the practices of other cultures at a young age allows them to see how more similar we are than different.
I just thought it was interesting how they thought that a lot of what this was about was giving back to poor people, and not so much about the religious part of things.
And it's never too early to start learning about other cultures, as this KG class wishes you a happy Ramadan.
Europe Day in May each year signifies peace and unity in the EU. Here in the UAE, it's being represented by a photography exhibition in Dubai's historic quarter. Emphasizing the long-standing collaboration between the EU and the UAE are the works of Emirati and European photographers who are capturing the modern history and the heritage of the Emirates. Member state ambassadors mingled with VIP guests at the grand opening of an exhibition which encapsulated the EU's theme for Europe Day this year, that of cultural heritage. In celebration of friendship and unity between the EU and the UAE, Emirati photographer Aisha Abbasi displayed images that she took during time spent exploring Italy's Dolomites.
Over the years, I've seen the relationship grow and blossom, and I think it's created for us like a second home, to be very honest. And I'm very happy that I get the chance to go to Europe and shoot, and I think all this is driven back to this relationship that we have grown together as nations.
Europe Day marks the anniversary of a speech given by French Foreign Minister Robert Schuman in Paris in 1950.
L'Europe ne se fera pas d'un coup, ni dans une construction d'ensemble.
His proposal was for new political and peaceful cooperation within Europe, and his declaration is considered a cornerstone of today's European Union. To discuss Europe's long-standing trade ties and cultural exchange with the Emirates, the EU's ambassador to the UAE, Patrizio Fondi, sat down with Inspire for an exclusive interview. Ambassador, a very warm welcome to Inspire Middle East.
Thank you.
The Europe Day celebrations are open to the public. Tell me, what can they expect in terms of the cultural dialogue?
We try throughout the celebration of Europe Day to underline the dialogue going on between European Union and the UAE. And the dialogue this time is between photographers. We wanted to have Emirati and European photographers and to see the different perspectives.
Tell me, what are the points of commonality between the EU and the UAE in terms of culture and values?
The first thing I can think of is tolerance, for example, which is really, especially for different religion, different people, different habits. We share this value, which is really to have all people respected in their, let's say, stand. Also, we share a lot the empowerment of women. Then also, we share a lot the care for humanitarian aid. The European Union is the biggest donor in the world, but the UAE is the biggest donor per capita. And of course, also economic linkages are very, very important.
Well, that brings me neatly to the topic of total trade between the EU and the UAE. What does the year ahead look like?
We are very satisfied about the trend in the last 10 years because we actually increased the trade with this country of 54%, which is really a huge amount. Let's say that of this 52 billion euro, about 42 are export from European Union to the UAE, and about 10 billion euro are on the import from the UAE. We also should consider that in the next years there is one trend, which is the diversification of economy in the UAE. They want to be less dependent on the oil and to be more diversified. So this means they will develop a lot the manufacturing sector. And this is, of course, an opportunity, not only for them, but also for European businessmen. And this will lead, in our opinion, also to a more balanced trade stand.
What other areas of cooperation and bilateral trade might appear on the horizon in the next year or so?
Yes. At the moment, the most important items for export from European Union is industrial, actually, goods. For example, machinery, transportation goods, aircrafts, of course, locomotives, this kind of very advanced products. On the other side, we import as European Union, especially fuel, lubricants and other related issues, and some manufactured goods.
We're entering the Holy Month of Ramadan. What does this time of year mean to you personally?
Ramadan for me was really a new experience when I started my life in Middle East. What I appreciate more of this time of the year is really the atmosphere. So sometimes you are surprised how they can have the energy after a day of fasting to go maybe until 2 o'clock at night around. So I was quite impressed positively because it's a very nice experience.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for speaking to Inspire Middle East.
You are very welcome. Thank you to you.
In the weeks leading up to the start of Ramadan, some of the streets in Cairo shine particularly brightly, with vendors selling the traditional lanterns called fawanees. Emad Maki has more on these illuminations, which hold great cultural significance for children and adults alike.
Here in Egypt, nothing signifies the upbeat mood and festivities of 30 days of Ramadan like this colorful lantern. Egyptians call it the fawanees. In Cairo, we know Ramadan is here because the fawanees is here too.
Ramadan lanterns, collectively known as fawanees, are simply a candle inside an ornate casing that glows in an array of colors. Despite the lanterns being a symbol of the most religious time of the year, they have no real connection to Islam. Ramadan lanterns originate from a tradition that dates back nearly 1,000 years. The first candle-lit fawanees looked exactly like this and was used to light up the city's streets when a new monarch arrived on a dark Ramadan night. Ever since, lanterns have become a symbol of celebration, lighting up the front steps of homes and businesses. Ahmed Mahfouz traveled over 60 kilometers to buy himself the perfect lantern.
When I see the fawanees, I automatically feel I have to buy it, even though I have three at home. It's in my genes. It's become part of our heritage.
Elaborate lanterns are made of copper, but as materials become expensive, lantern makers are turning to more affordable lightweight tin plates and bright glass. Fawanees producer and traditionalist Nasser Mustafa has been making fawanees for about 40 years, practicing the same crafting methods that his ancestors used to create the first lantern centuries ago. He says buyers prefer handmade lanterns, even though there are cheaper Chinese-made ones in the market.
I don't see any real competition from Chinese lanterns. The challenge we face is the high cost of raw materials, not Chinese lanterns.
For many Egyptians like Ahmed Mahfouz, the fawanees is a glowing relic of Ramadan.
When I buy a fawanees, I am buying a piece of history. I am buying a piece of the season's joy. It's the best symbol.
That's all for this week. Before I say goodbye, here are how people around the world are marking this important time in the Islamic calendar on social media. Noor from Al Marjan Island in Ras Al Khaimah tested out her Ramadan balcony lights in preparation for the Holy Month. And Manar from Lebanon took home decor inspiration from this street market in Beirut.